Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show Beyond Borders, and I'm your host, Nutan Vyas. So, today we are having a special guest, a young lady who is doing a lot of work for the environmentalists, and she is not only an environmentalist but a TEDx speaker and the author. So I am privileged to have her as my guest. And let's welcome and give a warm welcome to our guest, Oviya Singh. Hello,
Hello, ma'am.
Oviya.
Hi, hello. Thank you so much for having me here. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
And it's like I would like to appreciate all the work you are doing for the environment, and at such young age you are having such beautiful thoughts towards the nature and the environment, and you are working hard regarding that. So let's go ahead with your journey. That what motivates you to work for the environment? Because in the age where you are, it's just 12 years and you are like doing commendable job. So just let us know that what is driving you.
So, see, working for the environment has been a very casual incident with me. I was just up on the internet searching to make my speech, as have been said in a public speaking workshop when I was like a little smaller than this, like a year or two back. So there I was just searching on the internet to make my speech, and I just found out that the world is losing soil day by day by a very large margin. And that hit me in the mind that yes, Ovia, that you should do something about this for sure. And then I started researching more and more. I gave my first TEDx talk based on soil conservation. After that, I wrote a book on the same as well, and still continue to speak about soil conservation and also sustainability, sustainable living as a whole, because we are the generation for the change, and we really need to work for this environment. Because if we are not going to be the ones who are going to work for this environment, then I don't think we'll be even able to survive after 20 or 30 years. So that's what motivates me every morning to get up and work for it.
Definitely, I that's a very good reason to go ahead with it. So, in your term, when you are working with the environment on many projects, what is your definition of sustainable living? How do you explain in your words that what is sustainable living and what's the what's essential for environment?
Yes, thank you so much for the wonderful question and for acknowledging me. So, sustainable living is refers basically to a lifestyle and a set of various practices that aim to minimize the negative impact of future generations to come. It also involves, making conscious choices in various aspects of life, such as consumption, energy use, transportation, waste management, and many more, with the overreaching goal of maintaining a balance between the human needs and the Earth's capacity to regenerate and sustain itself. It encompasses several key principles like reducing consumption, conserving energy, minimizing wastage, supporting local and ethical choices, etc. And I also believe that sustainable living is a conscious choice. It is a choice that all of us have to, harmonize our lifestyle with the Earth's natural systems, promoting a very healthy environment and improving the quality of life, and promising a more promising future for the generations to come. And it's essential for the environment because it helps conserve resources, mitigate climate change, protect biodiversity, and create a healthier planet for the current and the future generations. It also helps, in resource preservation, climate change mitigation, biodiversity conservation, and thereby it helps promote a very prosperous and a very bright future for all. So that'd be my definition for sustainability.
Okay, so when you are doing all such things, and I really appreciate all your the explanation you have provided us. But when you are doing such things, what are the initiatives you are involved in currently, or you did previously, not just about now? So, what where you are engaging yourself to support such work?
See, being a child, I don't have that much exposure to the world till yet. But
Mhm.
yes, I would say, yeah. But yes, I would say that I still do some plantation drives, because I still do some plantation drives. I make out some speaking engagements, because I am still not in with some big initiatives for the same, but I do plan to do so in the future. So right now at down level, I've started with many plantation drives and giving out many free saplings to my society and my community, so that with each plant things will become good. And I do take some interactive workshops and engage in some speaking engagements, basically by spreading influence. And also, my efforts basically don't end just with the events. Online sources and social medias and community networks also sustain my engagement and promoting continued learning and action. So not much, but I haven't been directly involved in the sustainability initiatives, but plan to do so in the near future. But yes, I do have been inspired by some of the remarkable efforts of a company named as Patagonia. I've heard about them, that their dedication to use recycled materials and promoting ethical supply chains basically serves as a prime example of integrating sustainability into businesses operations. And I believe that if I can make them influence, if I can influence the industrial sector a bit to step forward to do the same, we can get rid of about 40 million tons of hazardous waste, which seep into our soil more like every year. So yes, that'd be
Wow,
my
that's a
concern.
great figure. And that's impressive. My purpose of asking you involving is that how you are calculating for yourself. Because being a child, the mindset you guys have, our generation doesn't. Maybe what you realize is so quick, we are realizing it now. And that's why you are the special guest for me, because in that young age, you started such big things and your mindset is working towards that, and that's a great thing. So I'm really impressed. It's not that you are not you are not involved directly to any organization, but the talks you are creating, the people you are motivating, the books you are writing, that's also considered as your initiative to the sustainable living.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
So, when you were saying all about that, and I was listening, so the question popped in my mind that when you are doing and thinking towards your work, what are your eco-friendly ways to create such kind of environment? How you want to motivate people? Do you have some like ideas that I should do this so the people will be more engaged, especially the kids? Like if I go forward and ask kids, okay, here is the girl and she is promoting the environment, sustainable living, what fun, what creative ideas you can throw to them so that they can be in your team, they can follow you, or they can create such thing like, okay, I'm inspired by the girl and I'm also going to do that. Please explain that.
Sure. See, promoting eco-friendly practices in the youth is a very difficult task, I must say,
Oh yeah.
because today's generation, even me myself, we are more engaged in online games and social media, more like Instagram and Facebook, more scrolling through reels and spending our whole days in it. But I chose this particular thing as the reason I've told you before. And if I want to empower, and I do want to empower the youth to come forward to do so, I'm still planning out a few things about how to do so. But yeah, I do have something in my mind. I want to encourage them to come into a basically a form a main community, more like a foundation, where they can where they can come each weekend to plant trees and click, have some good pictures, plant some trees, donate some saplings to the people, to the rural area people, to the slum areas and to government schools. So this is a very initial plan of my thinking, and I really wish to continue it forward if I will be able to, by God's grace. I wish I'm able to do this, but for now, this is the very primary structure that I have in my mind. Not much, to be very honest.
No, definitely that's a very good structure. I mean, that's how it starts. Like when we start putting the building blocks and we create the building. So that's a wonderful thing you said. So when the community, like where we live, where I live, where you live, we see a lot of things what we can change, right? Like in this side, in the west side, there is a lot of paper use, which is finally coming from the plants, and that plants is considered, and the nature and the soil, that all come together. So when
Right.
people are doing that, what is your take on that? How you want to say that? I mean, I'm not saying that this something is wrong or right. This the way of living depends where we are living. But what's your own take on that?
I would say that applies here as well, because we live in the residential and the urban settings, right? So promoting eco-friendly practices here as well in the residential and in the urban areas. This provides a multifaceted approach that combines awareness building and infrastructural development as well. And the most important thing is, either you're living in a rural or an urban area, community engagement is a very important aspect. I do have some strategies in my mind right now that can be considered to promote sustainable practices and eco-friendly practices in these settings. So first, I would say that green infrastructural development should be promoted in each country, because investing in green infrastructure projects such as urban gardens, green roofs, and community parks, these spaces, they not only enhance the aesthetics of one's house or one's building, but also contribute to the air quality improvement, the temperature regulation, and as well the community engagement, as I mentioned. Then there are waste management programs. Waste management have become a very huge part of our lives today, because what we see generally, like in India, is that people drink a bottle of juice, they drink juice, and they just throw out the bottle of the juice from the car itself. So waste management programs, implementing comprehensive waste management systems that include recycling, composting, and proper disposal, by providing easily accessible recycling bins and composting facilities in residential areas, and educating residents on how to separate waste effectively, I also think is one rather way. And the third thing, according to me, would be walkability and cycling infrastructure. So, what do I mean by this is that these days vehicles have been, four wheelers mostly, have been in a great demand. Everybody wants at least 2 to 3 cars for themselves, even if being a family of three. So designing urban areas in such a way, with pedestrian friendly pathways and cycling lanes to encourage walking and cycling. Because improved infrastructure promotes physical health, it reduces carbon emissions, it enhances the overall urban experience, and by even combining these strategies and tailoring them to the specific needs of each community, cities, and even the residential areas, we can create a more sustainable and environmentally conscious living for all the residents, be it urban or be it rural areas. We should or even start some developments in we should even start developments in the places where still there is no scope. We should step forward and in some way or the other contribute to that as well. I'll say that would be
Okay, that's great. Wonderful. So when you are having your talks and when you are talking about the environment, like you said, you started with the soil. So can you
right.
share little insight with us so that we can understand your explanation. How did you find that uh, the soil thing, or how you want to, I mean, whatever you projected there, please share that experience with us.
Sure, I'm gonna go from the very beginning of my journey. How did it all start? So I was basically, a mere participant of a public speaking workshop. I was still learning the speech things and everything at that particular point of time. So over there, the mentor over there, the teacher over there asked all of us, all the participants, to list down, see all the topics that we liked and all the topics that we disliked. So my dislike list included environment. I know it's pretty hard to believe, but yes, my dislike list included environment and all those cliche standard topics that were provided in the elocution contests of our school. While on the other hand, my like list included all the motivational topics because I used to be a motivational speaker at that time and still continue to be so. But after that, what happened was that he asked us to speak, to give a speech on the topics that we dislike in the next class. So eventually, I had ended up with environment being a topic for me. So I started, after, as I told you, I started researching about what needs to be saved next. What is in the line next for on the verge of extinction? Maybe the tiger, the rivers, or even the whole planet is on the verge of extinction. So during that, I came across a video by Sadhguruji leading the Save Soil movement, and that hit me hard. That hit me hard because watching that video made me feel that the soil that we consider as just a mere thing that we'll step upon it and everything, it actually consists a lot of life. It actually consists more than half of the life that is sustaining on this planet today. So that give just ignited a spark in me to I just that I needed to do something for it. Then I started to research more and more about why is this happening, how can this be resolved, and during my TED talk, during my TEDx, I also mentioned this that if we do not work now, by 2050, the soil, as we know, will go extinct and it will all turn into sand. Because today, you're going to be surprised to hear the fact that today the eight or if we eat eight oranges in just one sitting, that will actually provide us the nutritional value of one orange that was used to be the nutritional value of an orange back in the 1920s. So from 1920 to 2023 and 2020 has been a lot of transformation, has been a great transformational phase. The nutritional value of one orange at that time is now being provided within eight oranges. So I don't think we can actually expect a child like me, a 12-year-old, to just gobble up eight oranges in just one sitting, right? So this hit me hard, and then I continued to do so. I thought that giving a mere TEDx talk won't be enough, or spreading awareness in social media alone won't be enough. So I decided with my mentor that I'm going to write a book. I titled it as Save Soil, and I mentioned all the things that I could have about the microorganisms that the soil sustains, and how agriculture is on a verge of extinction. Land desertification is happening across the world, and how will it affect us, the today's generation, in the future, in building up our careers, our dreams. We all have it. We now are in eighth, and we do have a dream to go to a very well university, to study hard, and to become doctors, engineers, artists, some and more of it. So it's exactly going to take away our future from us if we do not act about upon it today, as of now. And that was the because I don't want the world. I personally do not want the world to live with masks. We have already survived 2 years of COVID, and I really do not want our rest of our lives to be the same, behind the masks and never seeing each other's face. So I still continue to promote soil by, as I told you, by plantation drives, by making out composts, by putting up competitions, various competitions, so that people come and engage in that, promoting my society and community to do so as well. By going to different speaking engagements, and thereby spreading awareness, because as we speak more in more and more places, more awareness will be spread. So yeah.
Wow, your dedication is inspiring. I'm in, I'm in total, yeah, I'm totally in your thoughts with how you, when you were explaining all those things. So it's like it's a really a fascinating thing that, okay, the value of soil degraded, that one orange nutrition are now available in the eight oranges. That's how the nutrition you were gaining that time, that's how the value is degrading. So it's not only the soil amount, it's the soil quality which is degrading over the years.
Yes, true.
Great. So in that whole sequence, when you are researching and the working, so what barriers do you see as a community? So I mean, so that you are not feeling that it's easy, or you are feeling that this is the problem, so I'm not able to handle this thing very clearly. What are those barriers you see for the sustainable living?
In my experience, there are, several significant barriers that often hinder the widespread adoption of sustainable living practices. And recognizing these challenges is very crucial to effectively strategize and also overcome them, because nothing is easy, as we all know that. So the first thing that I found was lack of awareness and lack of education. So many individuals are actually unaware of the environmental impact of their actions, or the lack of unnecessary knowledge to adopt sustainable practices. And overcoming this barrier requires comprehensive educational campaigns, workshops, and accessible resources that highlight the benefit of sustainable living and provide practical practices guidance as well. The second thing I found was our comfort zones. Nobody wants to step out of their comfort zone for the environment. They don't even want to do their work, let alone doing it for the environment. So convenience often, trumps the sustainability in daily decision making. People tend to stick to their familiar habits even if they're less eco-friendly or not at all eco-friendly. Talk about that. Overcoming We can overcome this by making sustainable options more convenient, accessible, and integrated into daily routines. Now, one more thing, yes, it is limited access. Now, limited access to sustainable products, as in some areas, it can be challenging to find the eco friendly products such as locally sourced organic food or biodegradable goods. Encouraging local businesses to offer sustainable alternatives and promoting online platforms that connect consumers with ethical and even sustainable products. As we all know, that online shopping has become a trend these days. But yes, the most important and the most holding back barrier is the cultural norms and the societal pressure of everyone. So the cultural norms and the societal expectations can and are actually disencouraging individuals from adopting sustainable practices that might be I'm sorry, that might be perceived as unconventional. And overcoming this barrier requires shifting cultural perceptions through public awareness campaigns, highlighting respected figures who champion sustainability and work for it, and showcasing the benefits of breaking away from the traditional norms. And to address this all, I would say that addressing these barriers requires a multifaceted approach that involves education, policy advocacy, cultural shifts, and accessible alternatives. By creating awareness, fostering behavioral change, more importantly, and providing tangible incentives, we can overcome all these obstacles and pave the way for a more sustainable future.
Wow. So that's fantastic what you all said and about that. And I would like to congratulate you on your accomplishment. I saw Sadhguru mentioned you in his Save Soil campaign, and it's like it was a really proud feeling that the person worldwide working for the soil is mentioning a little child. Tell me the little experience with that, with the book and the Sadhguru and about that.
Actually, every little every little applause that I get, every little good comment that I get makes a very pretty memory for me. But this one, yes, do holds a special one because I just came. I'll tell you how it happened. I returned back from school to home after a few days of my book launch. And my mom told me that, oh, I have good news for you. And I was like, yes, what happened? Because I was very tired at that time and I was very cranky also at that moment, to be very honest. So I was like literally shouting and screaming that what happened? Tell me. So then she showed me that and she said, Miki, you really made it work. And at that particular point of time, I felt like a dream. We have a dream that someday we get to meet our favorite superstars. So it was more like a dream come true for me in person. And after that, I apologized to my mom first for shouting on her because I was really cranky at that moment. The day had not went well in this
That's
whole.
okay. That's okay.
So then, but that particular moment, it made everything very happy for me. It felt like my dream of actually meeting my favorite hero had actually come true. And after that, I started getting many opportunities, like, and still I continue to do so today. Like, an invitation to a business conclave which happened on Millets, and invitations to many interviews and everything, just because he mentioned me. And he mentioning me, I getting and me getting that a bit small column on his website, titled as a youth in action. That was an experience that is beyond words, and I cannot express that in words. But yes, it was a very lovely memory, a very lovely and a very happy memory for me, to be very honest.
Oh, definitely. I can feel the vibe. I can feel that feeling now. I can feel that emotion, what you are feeling, just remembering what happened that time. But it's really a commendable thing to be featured there, to be the youth leader in that part, and that's you really are, that you are really doing. So, when working with the environment and the nature, what do you feel there is there any policies or regulation from the government? And if not, then if would you like to propose some regulations or guidelines or suggestions to the government so that they can imply for better sustainable environment and the living for all of us?
Right, absolutely. I mean, there are several key policies and regulations that do, and there are some that can play a very crucial role in ensuring a more sustainable future. So these policies basically span various sectors and address diverse environmental, social and economic challenges. Such policies basically, I would say, to be added are renewable energy mandates, sustainable transportation policies, reforestation and agricultural implements, education and awareness, and even some of the international agreements that we are already having. But I would suggest that if we could, upgrade them a little, because these are the policies and regulations that I propose, and these are not just theoretical constructs. They are the foundation of a very big and a very tangible change. They reflect our shared responsibility to safeguard the planet and secure a prosperous future. And by even embracing these measures, we can transcend the barriers that hinder our progress and create a world that thrives on sustainable practices, and the most important thing is leaving behind a legacy that we all can be proud of. Because these policies have proposed because, see, India, not alone India, every country is a very big country with a huge amount of population. It is not really possible that everyone will be listening to the government. So I think a step ahead should be taken in local areas now, not on a very mass scale, but starting from a very micro level, a very ground level, going place to place in local areas, and then telling them about the renewable energy mandates, and sustainable, policies that we have, where various things about sustainable fashions, going vegan, and even and even these transportation policies, so that this world can actually thrive on the sustainable living, and also become a more prosperous world. Yeah,
Definitely,
that, yes, just.
definitely. So when we are like the guidelines we heard, we barriers we heard, you explained very beautifully that how we can as a community can help the environment and help ourselves, because if there is not the good environment, it's hard to sustain yourself, because the covid time was the hard hitting time that made people realize that what we are doing to the environment and how it's affecting us in back in return. So
Right.
there is a lot of industries and the businesses going around. People are claiming that that's the environment friendly, and the businesses are claiming that friendly and the earth friendly. So, what do you see the role of businesses and the industries, especially the chemical industries, as an environmentalist, and what you want to suggest to them to make Earth the more sustainable place?
So, thank you for the question. In the pursuit of a sustainable living environment, the role of businesses and industries is pivotal. And as powerful engines of economic growth and innovation, they possess the potential to drive a positive change in the global scale. And to harness this potential, it is imperative to encourage them to embrace environmental responsibility. And I would propose three incentives for that. This can actually be done through, first thing is incentives and regulations. Governments can incentivize environmentally responsible practices through tax breaks, grants, and subsidies. The second thing I would suggest would be green certification and labels. Establishing credible certification programs and labels for sustainable products and services help consumers make eco conscious choices. And the third thing I would suggest would be circular economy adoption. Encouraging industries to adopt circular economy principles where resources are kept in use for as long as possible, which will promote sustainable practices and also reduce waste and many more like these. So the role of businesses and industries in creating a sustainable living environment transcends mere profit. They hold the keys to innovation, resource management, and societal transformation. So, by implementing these incentives, regulations, and collaborative initiatives, we can encourage them to embrace their role as stewards of sustainability. This collaboration between businesses, governments, and civil societies actually holds the promise of not only a greener planet, but also a more prosperous and harmonious future for all. So that'd be what I suggest.
You have exceeded my expectations. Literally, it's like I couldn't believe these words are coming from a child, 12-year-old. It's like fantastic. So, when you were answering that question, you used term socialized. What can you explain? I mean, I missed the word. What I understand is that social commitment or the community commitment, something like that. Was there a word? I missed.
Okay.
Let me frame it the other way. So,
Okay.
in my terms, when you were saying in my understanding, when we are trying to save it, we have community, our festivities or the heritage values, how we can include that, like the festivals are coming up, right? Especially in the Maharashtra, there's a time when Ganpati is coming and then Devi is coming. We have different kind of festival. We use a lot of type of mud and the clay and the synthetic material to create this festival. I am literally in the love of Ganesh ji and Mata Rani, all the things. We really appreciate that festivities. But while we are celebrating that, how we can include the earth and the environment, and what steps we can take so we don't hurt, and especially on your level. I am not at all going to the higher level where people, a lot of people are working towards that. When as a child, like a child like you, are around the youth of the country, what they can do from their side to support more to the community, to support more to the environment.
So, yeah. Were you saying something, or shall I continue?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah. So societal norms and these, is really these cultural norms and the social pressure. So what did I mean? What I meant by this was, yeah, you are right that religious festivals are in mostly our Indian festivals are, yes, right now many of them are coming up, and I am also as excited as you are because being a child, the festivals, this Raksha Bandhan and the Ganesh Chaturthi is everything that we wait for.
Definitely.
Everything that we wait for the whole year, Diwali,
Yes,
the
yes.
Holi, all of this.
Because there's such a fun environment to enjoy, and we want that as a more community engagement. So that's really a loving thing, but that's the other side also impacting. So please, you go
Yeah.
ahead.
So yes, like as we were talking about the Ganpati ji that we all bring at our homes for, I think, around 9 or 10 days that we do that.
Yes, yes, yes.
It's not really it's not and I don't think it's written in a book or something to create them from all the synthetic fibers and the clays and everything. We can I mean, the synthetic fibers and the chemicals that actually harm the environment. We are children and we are creative. We can always find a way to create them up using using some of the sustainable materials. And these days even the market has introduced eco-friendly Ganpati. Yes, they have. I heard about this concept last year only while I was watching a show. So I heard about this concept, and I think this is a very great thing. If you want to promote it on a larger scale, we surely can. And even we kids, we are very creative. We can take up some clay, we can take up our paint and just make something out of it and make a very beautiful looking Ganpati out of it. Coming to Raksha Bandhan, it's not always necessary. We really want those Spider-Man, those Batman Rakhis on on our brothers' hands, right? We can also create them on our own using threads that we have in our home. Everybody has threads in their home. Using threads, some stones that you have, and make it a beautiful thing in your own way. By waste money and buy go for plastic options when you can, and it'll be a fun activity for you, and you can have a very fun activity at your own home. Coming on Diwali, I would say again, diyas don't really, they are made from where clay and sand. They don't really pose any threat. But yes, exploding the crackers, we are kids, we do that. I did as well last Diwali. But still there is a limit that we should adhere to, one or two, not more than that. Really, we need, yes, I agree to that, that we really need to enjoy our festivals as well. We need to burst crackers, all of us know that, but let's set up a limit, guys. Like one or two crackers is more than enough for celebrating, and for the sake of that, you actually bursted crackers, that be enough. There is no need to bring up a very big polythene of crackers that usually happens in my society and burst them the whole night, increasing the pollution level and thereby degrading the environment. So there are always many sustainable ways while we can enjoy the festivals as well, and also take care of the environment as well, because overcoming this particular barrier, it requires shifting some of the cultural perceptions that our elders have, that this thing should not happen in this way and this thing should not happen in this way. There is some requirement at a very ground level to shift some of the cultural perceptions through public awareness and campaigns, obviously, but also we are Indians and we need to enjoy our festivals, right? So let's find out a way together. Let's use these sustainable ways that I just said to, enjoy our favorite festivals, and also maintain the environmental happiness, and also maintain the environmental practices.
Wow, what extraordinary and yet so inclusive that everyone can use and enjoy the festival and celebrate the festival, and finally helping the environment as well. So this
And
is all, I mean, a pretty impressive whole like the interview was, and like how you are explaining. Now I want to go on little personal part with you, so that as a child, when you are going school, there are exams, there are a lot of things going on in school. That's your sideways thing what you are doing,
yeah.
how you are managing, and how you want to encourage other youth to do such kind of stuff, take initiatives and work towards the community and the environment, or whatever the good cause they want to do, how you are managing so they can be inspired by your work, your way, how you are handling such things.
Yeah, so at this particular age of 13 and 14, I would say, because I'm going through that age now, studies became important. And this, I know that studies become important at this age because this is where our careers start to get shaped. Yes, and I totally agree that it is important to study. I will be very honest with you, I hadn't been active for a month now because I had my exams. I had everything. I hadn't been active in social media, but that doesn't mean, if you're active in front of the world, that doesn't mean you can't do anything at the ground level. You can still plant a sapling a day. You can you eat we all of us eat cherries, we take school with us. The cherries, we can always plant them up and do anything we want except the studies, because it is really important to set our priorities. Our priority, yes, the study is our priority, and time management is something that all of us need to have. And to be very honest, I still don't have time management, but I somehow try to take out some little bit of time. What I do is divide. Sometimes I divide my time, half for studying, half for doing all my extracurriculars. I even I even train some students for public speaking and speeches. I train them. So taking out some time to train students, and then after that doing something myself on the ground level basis, so that each day, even if you're not active in front of the world, you're actually doing something behind the stage as well. Because it is not always necessary to be in front of the camera all the time. Sometimes backstage also helps. Sometimes uh, we get after, because when we work for something except our studies, we actually gain a sense of satisfaction. I don't know really about the others, but I, yes, I do gain a certain amount of satisfaction after My studies, if I do some extracurriculars every day, I do get it. And I would encourage the youth to do study. Studying is very important part of our lives. I do agree upon that, but also do something for anything you like. If you like to learn a new skill, if you like to play guitar, you like to train other people for something, you like to support animal causes, animal welfare, you want to promote that, and do anything you want, but just take out some time and put it in your priority list. I personally never make any to-do list or something like that, but the because sometimes things come up and they have to be the priorities, and the to-do list doesn't really come in handy that point of time. So I put up three priorities of my day, one to the another one after the another. And at the end of the day, I make sure that all of this should be done. My studies should go hand in hand. Because this year I am working very hard because I need to be my scholars next year. I'm personally working very hard for that. And yes, we all should work very hard for being in the scholars and scoring well in the exams, but also study isn't the only thing in the world that's left to do. You'll only study in the future if you do something today. In terms of me working for the environment, I'm gonna say we can only study in our dream universities, have our jobs at our dream places only when if we, contribute something to the world today. So yes.
Wonderful explanation to all youth. Your message was so clear, and like everyone can feel and understand what you are saying. Uh, just for a little bit fun, I would play a one little bit, like say, the game with you. So
Okay.
that's it. There's nothing like just I will ask and you need to answer. So,
Okay.
what's your favorite plant?
My favorite?
Plant.
I love roses. They're like my favorite.
Okay, if you're going around and you are seeing plants and flowers, what would you choose to?
Flowers.
Okay, what's your favorite movie?
My favorite movie. I haven't like it's not that I haven't seen movies, but I've never let myself long enough alone to think about what's my favorite movie.
If
Uh,
or what's your favorite environment documentary or the documentary which has inspired you or you loved watching that?
to be very honest, you'll ask from my parents, they'll be like, she and documentaries, like it's like moon and the ground level. Like I don't watch documentaries at all. The thing that inspired me was some online videos that I was going through YouTube, and that was also I was doing time pass on YouTube, and I found that and it inspired me. So I don't really watch documentaries at all, but this will be my tip to everyone. Do watch documentaries. They do enhance your knowledge, but I personally don't. And if I would say my favorite movie, that would be uh, 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 I still don't know. I still
It's
don't
totally fine. That was a surprise round. You don't even know what I'm going to ask. You are in that totally different mindset. But I want to show and showcase that thing that a child which is doing a lot of things are the same as the every single child around the globe, or everyone has doing something. They have some special quality. So you, I want to inspire the world that yes, you have that in yourself. If that young lady can do it, you also can do it.
sure, sure.
Right? Because as I believe, one inspiring child can inspire many. One inspiring child can inspire many adults and the child and the growing kids and the youth on the everyone. I would love to say that. So as we are just going towards the end of our session, do you want to share something else? Do you want to say something to the audience, your message?
Yeah, sure. So The final message, or you would say a key takeaway that I wanted to give to my audience after today's session would be related to environment only because I'm working for that, so my mind works more in that manner.
Yeah, of course, that's understandable.
So our planet's well-being hinges on the choices that we make today. Every action, no matter how small, contributes to a larger impact on our environment. And by embracing these sustainable practices and fostering a collective commitment to change, we hold the power to shape a greener and a healthier future for ourselves and the generations to come, and be proud of the legacy that we will all leave behind. And we are the generations of change. We are the generation of change, and we are the building blocks of a very harmonious and a very prosperous world. So the last thing I would like to say here is everything we do does counts. So never ever think that this is a very small thing that I'm doing. Micro changes, only when many micro changes combine, they are the ones which bring a macro level change in the society. Thank you.
That's fantastic. I'm really impressed and overwhelmed by all the your knowledge and you shared with us. Thank you so much for coming to our platform and sharing your incredible knowledge with us. I really hope and wish a good success for you. And I'm seeing a good leader who is going to lead the world ahead in the future. So, all the best to you, and thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much, Mom. It's been a great pleasure to be here today, and I really hope to see you again like this next time, some other day.
Definitely, we going to connect again. Thank you so much for this session.
Thank you so much, Mom. Thank you.
Thank you.